Hello there, YouTube. What is going on now? It's me, Gabriel Nagel here, founder of Weather Buddies Forecasting Central and founder of this YouTube channel, Weather Buddies. How are you guys doing today? If you guys are having a fantastic day, glad to hear that. We are going to be discussing 3 weather highlights for the upcoming week, as of August 10th, 2021. Eyes are on the tropics, monsoon making a return, and a SPC update. Now, a lot of these forecasts are by specifically me, so except for the tropical part of this, that's the only part that's not a part of me, so I will ask you guys to consult your NWS or your National Weather Service if you guys so happen to need more weather professional knowledge, or you need to find out what the weather forecast is for your direct area. Also, we'll be saying this, we hope you like this video. If you like this video, please give the video a thumbs up, share with your family and friends, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Alright, let's dive into the video. So as you guys can see here, we have a GFS model, well, we do have a model comparison pulled up for the first portion of this video, which will be the GFS model. To start with, and then we'll be moving on to the GEM model, and then we'll be moving on to the icon model. These are 5-day outlooks, by the way, so these go out to 5 days and are valid for the next 2 days. Alright, so this is this tropical disturbance that we are all watching right now. Sorry for the yellow color, let me redo that, mark that in black here. This is expected to go right over the Dominican Republic and may potentially make landfall just off the western Florida coast. Though, however, there could be a good chance that this could potentially go right over Florida, cross over, especially the I-4 corridor. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, if it's the I-4 corridor, or it could actually be on the east coast of Florida, according to the icon model, the Germany model. But let's go ahead and let's watch this disturbance here and see where this thing is going to go, so you guys have a general idea where it will land. Next run, this is for August 12th, so this is for the following day after tomorrow. It weakens a little bit. It kind of just falls apart right over the Puerto Rican island, but it does regather. If unexpectedly this thing stays in between the islands and the Florida coast, this thing can potentially get really strong. And if it does make it to the Gulf Coast, see, there's a lot of uncertainty with this tropical system, by the way. It could potentially turn into a Cat 1 or a Cat 2 and make landfall right here. If it does make it over some of these smaller islands, I forgot the name, I apologize. But like I said, consult your National Weather Service if you need help, more professional help. But if it does make landfall of these smaller islands and it so happens to go to the eastern edge of the Florida coast, we could potentially be seeing some maybe hurricane development with the system. Again, the system is right here. It's not expected to make too much of well, it's not expected to be too powerful during this time, but it will really strengthen once it gets past this line right here. So once it gets past the halfway through the Dominican there. So let's go ahead and go on to the next slide. So there you go. It's right over the Dominican area. It's right now a tropical wave. Really nothing organized. It's just all flat out, just kind of disrupted at this point. But on the next slide, we could be potentially seeing it starting to making a redevelopment. Let's look at that. Here's where it starts to redevelop. Even models suggest it could be like a kind of disorganized eye wall there, which could be interesting to watch. And as you can see, the pressure on this thing though is still fairly high. It's a 1008 millibar pressure. But if you look at the millibars here, these little contour lines, they are kind of a little tight around the circulation. The tighter these lines are, like for example, they're tight like this, and they're very, very tight, usually stronger winds are associated with that storm. If they're very far apart, like that, and then they kind of do something like that, that means that it's a very weak pressure gradient, meaning that there's no wind associated with that system. As you can tell, there probably are about 45-mile-an-hour winds associated with the system during this time, so it will be tropical depression, or will be tropical-like. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. So, this next slide is, this thing will be making landfall on the western coast of Florida, probably over the Tampa area, also potentially over Orlando too, if holds steady, if holds true. Also, Miami, Florida could be seeing a lot of rain out of this. I know that on this particular run, I did not get the depiction of it being right there, but yeah. And also, look at these isobars. Isobars are kind of a lot tighter. Let me go ahead and just take off these markings for a second so you guys can see this. So if you guys take a really close look at those isotherms, or isobars, not isotherms, excuse my language, isobars, they are very tight near the center, so there could be about maybe 60-mile-an-hour winds near the center of the system. And by the way, this is Sunday, August 15th, so this will be the last day of this forecast, I believe, of this particular model, so we think we're going to be moving on to the next model here. Now, I will tell you, the GEM model, or the Canadian model, is picking up on this thing a little bit stronger, and picking up on it going somewhere like this. So it's kind of going to go just north of the Dominican, and it may miss Puerto Rico, but when it does go over the Dominican area, it's going to go in between the Florida and Dominican, and I'll show you the reason what I said at the beginning of this video. If it makes this track, it will strengthen significantly right here on the Gulf Coast, and could make significant landfall, and could go like that, and turn into that direction, into the lower Tennessee Valley, and the Ohio Valley. Okay, so moving on to the next slide. Here we go. GEM model. So let's go ahead and look at the Canadians, what they're saying. Right now, they're calling for pretty much the same thing the GFS was. Center of circulation, weak circulation right over there, the Puerto Rican islands. Now moving on to the next slide. It kind of shows some circulation still, but it's not out of this question at this time, but that could still strengthen. Also, it could weaken depending on what the system decides to do. Next model run. Here is where it starts to strengthen. Here's that path trajectory I was telling you about. Although I was a little off right over here, I do apologize for that. I will say it goes something like this, and when it goes into the Gulf of Mexico, which, by the way, the ocean waters are warm over here, and it wasn't a W that was actually a drawing of the warm waters, just to tell you. They're actually really warm, just right over here, west of the Dominican, and then the Gulf of Mexico, going kind of towards the seaboard there. So, anyways, continuing on, this system is expected to strengthen according to the Canadian model. It's going to take that path. There you go. And then it kind of does run over the Tampa area, the Tampa Bay area of Florida. And then it really gains strength, by the way. Let's go to that previous run. And that, by the way, is I can't read that. That's a 1006. I think that's a 1006 millibar low. I'm not sure. But then it really gets its act going right here. Even though the millibars aren't really low, they definitely indicate a lot of wind with this thing. Look at those isobars. They are very, very tight, guys. So tight that the GEM model is suggesting that this thing should have maybe between 100 and 110 mile an hour winds. Now, don't get me word on that. Okay, don't quote me on that, but that's exactly what this model is picking up on. Now, I'm going to go with the Icon model, and we're going to compare that with this model. Okay, so here's the Icon model. Alright, so as you guys can tell, there's the system. It's just like the rule of thumb, moving this thing off to the north and west. There it goes. There's the millibar. By the way, the pressure for it, and the gradient is not too thick on this model. This model, though, does tend to render the pressure gradient a lot lower. So, and then there's the next one. This is expected to be about 35 to 40 mile an hour winds right there. 1010, funny thing, that's a funny number, by the way, I'm seeing there. could potentially, by the way, this is the model we were talking about at the beginning of this video too, that this could potentially hit the eastern coast of Florida. So it could hit the Orlando or the Miami area, and I can't remember the name of that lake, but yeah, please forgive me about that. This, though, for this model, this is pretty hyped up. I mean, this could potentially closer to 100 and 110 miles an hour during this hour. Now, this could be, again, this could be overhyped, so please don't quote me on this. But I actually see this thing only maxing at about 100 miles an hour. That's where I see this thing maxing out at. And that's what I have forecasted to originally be, was 100 miles. That's what I put my guesses. By the way, another area to watch right there. Definitely another area to be watching out for. And yeah, so there you go. This is our last model run for the tropical update. As you can tell, there could be some nasty onshore winds. So for any of you in the Miami area, in the counties of Miami, within the Miami district, I will advise you to be weather ready, weather aware, and be prepared, because this tropical system, if makes landfall and does hit hurricane status, I want you all to prepare yourselves for some potential onshore tidings. So yes, we do not want anybody standing out there in the waters, because they can get sucked up in the ocean and drown themselves. We don't need that. So please be safe out there. Please be careful, please be weather ready, and please be aware. Now we're going to move on to the miscellaneous forecast. We're going to move on to the other highlights here. This is the SPC outlook real quickly. This also has been very, pretty much something else that's been worth watching. Today's SPC outlook, this is today by the way, we could be seeing some potential enhanced risk right there in the Chicago metropolitan area, Iowa, eastern half of Iowa, and southern Wisconsin, and northern Illinois. That could be an area worth watching. And then outside that, you got a whole area of slight risk, really ranging from western half of Ohio, pretty much all of Indiana, all of Illinois, all of Missouri, and then you kind of can see the general picture here of how this thing. Also, the upper UP and Michigan could experience some severe weather out of this. It won't be as bad though, because once it kind of goes in this direction, it will weaken as it loses its daylight heating. This event's already happening, so during this hour I'm uploading this video, because this video is uploaded later than I expected. And then here's day 2. Day 2, you can see there are 2 areas to be watching, although this area is not too much of a big deal, but it's still be an area worth watching. Slight risk moves a little bit further to the south and east, and marginal risk does shrink down a little bit, as you guys can see there. Generally, what I see with this particular so there is a low that's kind of somewhere in this area, by the way. Also, a sagging boundary that's been kind of going like this. So, what is to be watched here in this particular outlook is that for tomorrow, you guys could be seeing another round of severe weather in Chicago, Illinois, and possibly St. Louis, Missouri. Again, another area. And St. Louis, I meant to mention you. St. Louis, which is right there, kind of in that area circled. You guys could be experiencing some nasty severe weather by this evening. This squall line is expected to kind of make like a southwesterly trajectory to you guys. It's just going to be interesting to be watched. And then last but not least, day 3. Let's go ahead and look at day 3. Day 3, as you can tell, there's a marginal risk in the southwest. That's the southwest monsoon for ya. And then also our marginal risk there in southern half of Ohio, southeastern portions of Indiana, there are northern parts of Kentucky, and most of West Virginia. A little portion of southwest Pennsylvania could be in on this too. Alright, so now our next weather highlight will be the monsoon. Let's go ahead and move on to that. This is our monsoon meter forecast. I did not show any actual, by the way, this is not the long-term outlook. This is the as you guys note up here, this is the 8 to 14 day monsoon outlook. And this is our meter for the monsoon the next 8 to 14 days. So the next 2 weeks, we are expecting a strong monsoon, possibly leading into a potentially, sorry, that's a crappy arrow, potentially leading into a very strong monsoon. Now, what does this mean for the monsoon? Well, during this time, things are still up in the air with this particular event, but it is another weather highlight we need to be watching the next 2 weeks. Again, it is expected to get kind of on the stronger side of things. Again, this little description right here, I'll read it to you guys real quickly here. Let me clear that. So this is the 8 to 14 day monsoon outlook meter. This this upcoming monsoon pattern is expected to be in a strong stage or phase, and could possibly have a severe outbreak or two, which is worth watching in the coming 2 weeks. That is a big watch we need to look out for, due to the fact that the monsoon could have some potential outbreaks. The one thing we need to watch out for in the desert Southwest and parts of California, and excuse the thumping, but I'm doing that to get your guys' attention, is there are wildfires in California. I did not get that into this video. I do apologize for those in California, and I do apologize for some of those in the Northwest that I didn't manage to get to the heat portion of this. I know there's a big massive heat wave across the northern half of the country, and I will, my condolences to you guys. I hope the weather does cool down for all of you guys soon, but we'll have to wait and see what happens. I mean, during this time of the year, sometimes the Indian summer, whatever, it could just do whatever it wants. And so, there's nothing we can really do about it. This is the last slide, by the way. Sorry this video was a little longer than expected. If you guys though did like this video and you like the 3 weather highlights, we highly suggest that you guys do subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, and check out my Patreon page, by the way, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. And if I made a mistake there with my words, I apologize. I have been working on this literally for the last 2.5 hours, and I have a friend I need to get to. He's probably freaking out and worrying about me. So yes, I will not mention his name. I will not disclose it here, but I will tell you, him and I have been talking on a call. But if you guys do like this, weather-related video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Share the video with your family and friends. Again, last time I'm going to say this, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Alright, you guys have a wonderful day, and all of you, God bless, be weather aware, and please be weather safe. Thank you very much, and all of you have a good day.